Hello. Thank you for joining. I'm going to get started in just a minute, but in the meantime, I would love to hear a little bit about what it is that brought you here tonight. What do you want to get out of this? And what specifically you are dealing with so that I can make this as valuable as possible. So I'm going to get started in just a couple minutes. We got 4 minutes, but put it in the chat so I can be as helpful as possible. And if not, I'll just keep talking to myself because I get it. Sometimes you can't get to the phone to, maybe you're driving or doing the dishes or something, or sometimes I know people might be a little embarrassed to chime in on a sensitive topic like this. So I'll talk about some things that a lot of people will bring to my attention, and I'm going to, let me say, we could, drop an emoji in the chat if you feel like, or a heart emoji in the chat if you're dealing with stomach problems, and drop a silly face emoji if it's more reflux or something that's a little bit higher up. And maybe even a poop emoji if it's more about your lower digestion. Now, I'll get into more detail on how to figure out which might be you in case you don't know. Some people feel mostly bloated, and other people feel, like it's a lot of reflux. All right, thank you so much. IBS, Crohn's, or ulcerative colitis, looking for information as to why I have gut issues. And, I had somebody the other day I was talking to who said they have IBS, but they're not sure if they have Crohn's yet. They think they do, or ulcerative colitis even. That's a distinction between different inflammatory bowel diseases. So a more serious problem. But when you're in between IBS and IBD, doctors don't really have answers for you because you're not quite ready to go on these heavy duty medications for the IBD. Awesome. I deal with IBS with constipation. Doctor just gave me a pill and I want to find the root cause. A lot of people will try different medications, and some people don't want to even try the medications because that's just not their style. But even when people have tried many different medications, it can take years sometimes to find a dosage and a combination that sort of works, but that doesn't fix the problem. So later on, they end up having other problems because they never actually fix the root cause. So I love that. And I don't go to the bathroom for a few days, and then I have urgent diarrhea. So constipation and diarrhea mixed, and that could be frustrating because you never really know what to expect, and probably most of the time you're uncomfortable. And bloating. Got it. All right, I love this. I'm so glad you're all here tonight. Now, I know your time is valuable, and showing up today tells me that you're serious about your health, that you want answers and you haven't found them anywhere else. So I'm going to go over why you're feeling like this and how your stomach, what's really going on underneath, because it's not just I need more fiber, and it's not all in your head, and it's also not just about avoiding certain foods. So feel free to add stuff to the chat. I'll be checking it here and there. I do get distracted sometimes, so if I don't answer your question right away, then I'll get back to it later to make sure that I can stay on track and get this information out to you. Now, people come to me when they've been dismissed by other doctors and they're at a dead end. Most of them have fired a number of GI doctors, and they're at their wit's end. That they come to me, and a lot of the times they just say, well, I wish I did this sooner. So you're not like everyone else who just scrolls along on social media and keeps researching forever and ever and ever. You're actually taking action tonight, which is big, because it doesn't really take a huge step. You just have to take little baby steps in order to help your body heal. Now, the average person spends over $2,000 a year on solutions for their gut that don't even work. So I'm going to show you exactly why nothing has worked and what actually will. If a lot of people have been on a long and frustrating health journey, so if that's you, let me know. SIBO, oh yeah, that's one of them that back in the day, 10 years ago, I didn't even know what to do with SIBO because I kind of knew what to do, but we weren't incredibly successful with it. Now, everything has completely changed, and SIBO is no longer a challenging case, funny enough. So if you're here, it's really because you're done suffering. You want to get answers. And down below, I was just putting, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, maybe not. But at the bottom here, I was doing some research just to have it on these slides that most people with chronic disease, like gut issues, they follow a trajectory of distress that is just low and stable. Now, you're not here to just deal with it and live with it, because that's not fun. That's not going to help you get better health and help you have a good quality of life. And by goodness sake, IBS and IBD is not a life sentence. Okay? Maybe you feel that way when you're with your doctor, but that's because they don't have the right answers. Maybe you want to eat without fear, or to make plans without worrying about the bathroom. You want to just have enough energy, but you're stuck. Whether you have unpredictable stomach problems that just control your schedule, maybe food has become the enemy. you feel like you're missing out on life, you probably tried different diets, supplements, medications, tests, just invested time and money, but with little relief and nothing to really show for it. Stuck on the low FODMAP and prescription drugs for constipation does not work. Bloating right after eating. Yeah, and I'd love to know, did the low FODMAP diet do anything at all for you or what? Because I'll get some people who they try the low FODMAP diet, they see a little bit of improvement, but they have a hard time. They just want to stay on it because coming off of it feels worse. Yes. Okay. And low FODMAP diet, first of all, it can drive you crazy because it's so strict and abstract to wrap your head around. Long term, it is going to deteriorate the ecosystem in your gut. So it is not something you can be on forever. You know that exactly. You need better answers and something that is going to heal you and not just be an elimination diet that's going to keep you feeling stuck. Never had a problem, then boom, SIBO. Now, SIBO will strike when the climate is right. If you have the right environment, that's when SIBO is going to pop out. So there's a couple of factors. I'm not going to go into too much detail with it. I have, I think, a training on my channel, but it's completely reversible. And if you go about it the right way, you'll stay in remission from it forever. Okay. A lot of people, they'll go on Xifaxan or some other kind of antibiotic for the SIBO, and then you might feel a little bit better if you're lucky. And 6 months later, you're back to square one. Diverticulitis. All right. Now with diverticulitis, you've got a inflammation. I mean, that's a little bit different of a problem, but it usually stems from having the wrong kind of bacteria in your gut mixed with inflammation. All right. Now, I just got to say, I'm just calling it out. This workshop is not for you if you're not ready to believe in yourself and your body's innate ability to heal itself. Because believe it or not, your body is willing and able to heal. It just needs the right tools. If you're not ready to go deeper, and if you're just content with managing your symptoms, this isn't going to be it for you either. And if you're not open to functional testing and supplements, I hate to say it, but this is not going to be the right kind of training for you. Now, because you're here, I want to give you something special. Email me. I'll put my email in the chat. Email me the word bonus, and I'm going to send you a special bonus just for being here live. So don't forget to do that. You can take a screenshot or copy and paste this, but I've got the word bonus to my email here. All right, now my 3 promises to you is that I will never make you fear food. I will never give you a cookie cutter meal plan or protocol. And everything I do is just completely tailored to your body. There's no way I can just take a protocol, copy and paste it to everybody. It doesn't work that way. And I get so frustrated when I see ads out there for different supplements or different plans. If you have IBS, do this. That's not possible. I've been helping people who have IBS for over 14 years, and every single case is completely unique. Now, when you stay to the end of this training, I have an exclusive opportunity to get personalized help, so you're not going to want to miss that. I created this system because I found that there is a major problem with IBS care today. There are about 3 hidden problems that your body is carrying that make it impossible to digest anything properly, no matter how clean you eat. So if you have IBS, or really everyone who's in the chat sharing what you're dealing with, all of these problems are because of exactly what I'm going to talk about today. My mission is to empower people to reclaim their health without restrictive diets or band-aid solutions. And I've helped over 700 people when no one else was able to. Now, I don't know if I skipped over this too soon. My name is Marina Bedrosian. I'm a registered dietitian, and I say I've gone rogue because I've not followed the typical dietitian pathway, because I went more into this holistic and functional route, which has just completely blown my practice out of the water, because there's so much more to it than just what we're taught traditionally. And the truth is, conventional healthcare is failing you. Look at these statistics. Up to 33% of Americans ages up to 65 have a digestive disease. And more than half of the population in America over 65 have a digestive disease. Now, the numbers are just going up. And can you imagine, you finally retire, but your digestive problems are just getting worse, and then they build on top of other health problems? We're not looking for that kind of quality of life. Up to 70 million Americans are affected by digestive diseases. Now, I've got to point this out, that I was not always successful. I failed in helping somebody who, she put her trust in me and her faith in me, and I did everything I could. This is a ways back. But she didn't see major improvements. Yeah, she felt better here and there, but she still had some days where she wasn't feeling great at all. And I couldn't wrap my head around it. Now, I love a challenge, but it breaks my heart to not be able to help somebody, especially who's come to me for help. And so what I did was I went back to studying every single thing I could possibly study in order to help me better help that person. So I spent over 1,000 hours of research and additional training. And I started to get some confidence because I started accepting more and more difficult cases and applying these principles with wild success. And at that point, I knew I was onto something. So now I'm here to share this with you, because I want to just let everybody know, not only is your body capable of healing, but you just need the right combination and the right information. So you might be thinking, well, that's great for those people, but my case is way too tricky. Or, well, my problems aren't that bad yet, so I'll just wait a little bit more. Or you might say, well, I'm sure I could figure this out on my own. I just need some more information. Now, that last part is the saddest to me. Well, all of these are sad, because time is your enemy. If you keep waiting and postponing healing, you're just wasting away these beautiful years that you have, not living your life to your fullest. So a lot of people come to me with other problems, hormonal imbalances, their labs might be off, only to realize that they have deeper problems that we're going to look at in a minute. So honestly, trying to figure out what kind of supplement or what kind of plan is going to work best for you, you might as well play the lottery, because those chances are going to be greater than having success in trying out a bunch of different things. Now, these are some keys to success. The people who've been really successful working together with me is that, number one, you're coachable. Number two, you can focus on progress, not perfection. And number three, commit to never letting self-doubt stop you. So even if you've tried different medications, supplements, doctors, or diets, as long as you have these three traits, you can do this. These transformations are completely possible for you. These just show the all the lives and the people that I've helped and things that they're able to do now because they're feeling better. So just imagine right now what life would look like. You can go out to eat at your favorite place and order your favorite foods. You can confidently plan vacations, date nights, or even go on dates without hesitation. Your mornings will feel calm. You'll have easy, comfortable bowel movements each day. You can think about your goals, your life. You can be creative. You don't have to worry about thinking about your bloating or what foods are going to bother you. Really, what most people say is that they finally feel free. And I can't imagine what it's like living every day almost like it's a jail sentence because you're stuck in this body that is not working with you. Now, you are not meant to live like this. These are some symptoms that people will collect during assessments. But whether it's fatigue or depression, forgetfulness, low sex drive, irritability, or anxiety, now these are all symptoms that your body is unhappy. It's whispering to you, it's not happy. And this is not normal either. These digestive symptoms like stomach pains, constipation, bloating, gas. Now, maybe you don't have as many as these symptoms here. Even if you have just a couple of categories, but you're noticing it's affecting your life, that's big. Let's talk a little bit about your poop. Yes, that's just part of my job. Your bowel movements, you should have 1 to 3 a day. And looking at this chart, they should be a number 3 or a 4, leaving you feeling satisfied and comfortable. If you're outside of a 3 or 4 a good amount of the time, that's not right. Now, so many people will have these problems for so long that they think it's completely normal. That's how it's been. That's just the way I am. That's the way it's been my whole life. But that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean it's healthy. Let me check the chat real quick. I'm in ginger and artichoke for motility, but does not work. That's because you need something else. If the ginger and artichoke aren't helping for motility, there's other things going on, and that's not going to be enough. I really feel something is out of balance in my stomach and digestive system. Enzymes, good bacteria, bad bacteria, blood test revealed my inflammation numbers are severely elevated. Well, I can't wait to tell you about something at the end of this presentation so that I think you're going to love it. Okay, you do NAC, oregano, neem, allicin. Okay, and those are things that I used to do a while ago, focusing on that, but there's so much more missing from helping somebody with SIBO than those things. That's just a little snippet, and honestly, it's not going to fix the problem in most cases. Because those are antibacterial, they're antibacterials, they're herbs. And just like any other kind of antibacterial or antibiotic, it's gonna maybe get rid of some of the bacteria that you don't want in your small intestine, but there's a reason why you had that SIBO to begin with. It's not just the bacteria. It's a motility problem, it's an energy problem, it's a detox problem. It's much more complicated than that, and that's why it needs a much more rounded approach. Is IBS like SIBO? If you have SIBO, most cases you have IBS, but not everyone with IBS has SIBO. Does that make sense? How long does it take? Honestly, I have a lot of people say they feel less bloating in the first couple of weeks, sometimes in the first couple of days. But typically for SIBO, I got to give it a good 3 months. Always 6 months is best for gut healing stuff. And In cases of ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, I would say a year, maybe even 2. Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you for sharing. But we can see here that our poops are messed up and we need to fix them and help them. So let me show you the first discovery, the 3 hidden reasons why your stomach is not going to heal. And this is what doctors miss and why you're still suffering. Now, I created this program because I've seen how much stomach problems, even when they're not severe, can wear women down. Stomach problems often show up before more serious health issues, and they're usually ignored. So, problem number 1 is that you've got too much of the things that don't belong in your body. Basically, waste, chemicals, bad bugs. In every single case, I found that this was playing a major role. Now, there are 3 parts to this. So sometimes one part might be bigger than another, but across the board, this is one major piece. This is going to leave you feeling tired and stressed out. And this is something that nobody talks about. I mean, Lisa was only eating 10 foods that she felt was safe. We didn't have to even change her diet. I didn't want to touch her diet because I'm not going to restrict somebody who's only eating 10 foods. We just had to help her body clear out the backlog of waste first. Within 2 weeks, her thinking became more clear. She was less bloated. And 3 months again, she was eating completely normally again. Now, in the meantime, in order to help clear out the waste in your body, something you can start doing right away is just basically making sure you get plenty of water because your body needs that to clean itself out. And try to ditch plastic food containers, not eating off of paper plates or plastic spoons and forks and whatnot as best you can. This goes a lot deeper than that, but I wanted to give you something to just consider right away so you can start making some changes. Problem number 2 is that you're running on empty. Think of your body like a car. If your car's out of gas, you wouldn't drive to work because you know you're going to be headed for breakdown. Now, if you can't calm down emotionally and physically if you don't have the right nutrients. So if you're not digesting and absorbing your food properly, which you're probably not, because if you're here, whether you have bloating, constipation, or diarrhea, you're not digesting and absorbing things the way you should. So you're low on certain nutrients, vitamins, minerals, maybe even just patience. If your body is designed to heal itself, it can't do that if it's running on empty. And you'll know that this is a major problem for you if you're exhausted even when you sleep enough. And if you've taken acid blockers, antibiotics, or birth control for long term, you can almost guarantee that this is a problem because those lead to nutrient deficiencies. And brain fog, that's a major problem here. Now, you can't fix a broken system if you don't have any materials. So remember the first analogy was this overflowing bucket. You've just got all this extra waste that your body can't get rid of. And the second one is that you're running on empty. Your fuel tank is completely low and you cannot rebuild and help fix your body. Now, a lot of people will complain to me of weight issues. More often than not, the people I see have a hard time keeping weight on. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You're not absorbing the food, so you're not able to keep weight on. And in turn, you know that your muscles are suffering, your bones are suffering. The last one is emotional. Stress, relationships, feelings, maybe feeling lost or defeated or hopeless. Your nervous system is not going to let you heal if you're in this state of stress. These 3 things together are not only going to leave you feeling tired, stressed, and confused, but this is this cycle which your body can't get out of without outside help. All right, I love it. We're talking about poop in here. So we got all different types of poops, but not really healthy ones. They're either ribbon-like or really hard or way too soft, and sometimes needing suppositories. Yep. This is something that I have to put out there because so many times, I mean, in almost every single case, people come to me, they say they wish they've done something sooner because if you do nothing, symptoms are just going to get worse over time. This happens time and time again where people will say, yeah, this started probably when I was 10 years old. What? Or sometimes it started 2 years ago. And I get it. You know, you don't want to first seek out a profession, a specialist, maybe because you feel like this should be easily fixed. It's not going to be a problem for very long. It'll go away, and then all of a sudden you realize it's been a number of years. If you take action, then you're able to address the root causes, so you can get lasting relief. You just invest in a solution once that's going to actually work. And then you can participate fully in life's moments. You can have a varied diet, which will help you fight cancer and diabetes. You can improve your overall health and well being. Now, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. 10 years after a diagnosis, 50 to 70% of people with IBS report continued symptoms. And it takes up to 6 years for most people to even get a diagnosis of IBS. All right, let's talk real quick about how you eat, because you might be eating only 10 foods that you feel are safe for you. It's not the food you're eating. If you're eating McDonald's, yeah, it's the food. But if you're eating whole foods and you're trying, it's something way deeper. And that's why you haven't felt complete relief yet. That's why the low FODMAP diet hasn't completely helped you yet, because there's something else going on that food is not going to touch. These 3 things are musts. And it's something that all these things you can start doing right away. Depending on what time zone you're in, you're going to eat slowly for dinner tonight. Slow. You're going to stop scarfing down your food, because digestion begins with proper chewing. I would even say digestion starts before food goes in your mouth, because digestion starts when you smell the food and you start thinking of the food. You're starting to salivate. Saliva is a digestive juice. It has enzymes in it. So the more you break down the food, the easier it is for your stomach. We really need to learn to slow down. It's hard. I know it's hard to do that, especially in the morning if you're in a rush, or for lunch, or maybe for dinner when you have kids and maybe they're screaming, but we got to find a way. And for some people, soups are a lot easier to digest, or smoothies, because they're pre-digested. You can just sip on it and it's easier on your stomach. So if you feel like you're in a rush all the time, consider using some kind of smoothie or a soup so that you don't have to scarf down your food, especially if you get bloated. Okay, especially. And I would say if you get constipated too. The next thing, an overnight fast. Most people can easily tolerate a 12-hour fast overnight to rest their digestion. Think of your digestive system like a dishwasher. You need to run the whole cycle in order for it to do a good job. If you interrupt the cycle by opening up the washing machine and putting dirty dishes in and closing it back up, they might not come out right. The same thing goes with your digestion. You want to have this nice long 12-hour fast to let everything move through nicely. And lastly, you'll know this is you, because if you need to cook your vegetables in order to tolerate them, then just do that. Don't feel like you have to fight against it or just suffer through eating raw vegetables, because raw vegetables are much harder to digest. They're also not helpful for people who have inflammation in their gut. So just do yourself a favor, cook them, and you'll be a lot happier. Big discovery number 2, probiotics and strict diets are not enough. And if they were enough, you wouldn't be here. Conventional treatment can be great for a lot of things, don't get me wrong. But medications are just going to mask your symptoms. Even sometimes people will get their gallbladder taken out, but that wasn't the problem. It was something deeper than that. And so years later, they come back having liver problems or something else, or IBS. And they think it's because they don't have a gallbladder, but the truth is it's because they never fixed the problem that caused the gallbladder to be mad in the first place. Does that make sense? Elimination diets can just sometimes be too strict and leave you eating only a couple of foods. And contradictory advice can be just too confusing. I mean, how many times do you hear people say, eat more fiber, don't eat fiber, make sure you exercise, whatever you do, don't exercise after you eat. And when you have 7-minute doctor appointments, it's impossible to get all the right information. Not to mention, I mean, most doctors that I've ever worked with, they will look at the work I do and they'll say, oh my gosh, I don't have time for that. And that's why I'm here. Now, sometimes you'll even do expensive tests, but if you don't have a real plan to follow up with them, it's expensive paper is what it is. So DIY solutions truly prolong your healing because they don't get to the root cause, and it just leaves you with more time feeling badly. These are some basic self-care tips that must be paid attention to. Wholesome meals, as much as you can, whatever you can, not to the point where you're stressing out about it, but the more you can prepare foods yourself, the more you know you're in the right area, because so many restaurant foods are made with poor ingredients, especially if you're in the United States, even the United Kingdom. Stress management. That's a big one. Just get rid of your stress. Don't worry about it. So many people have given up on finding IBS relief because they feel like it's just stress and they just have to manage their stress. However, they can't ever fully manage their stress and therefore never feel totally better. This is definitely a part of my system, is the stress management, but a quick tip to use is to focus on your breathing before a meal. And that might be centering yourself, saying grace, doing some breathing. And a breathing tip is if you make your exhale longer than your inhale, it's going to help shift your body into a resting and digesting mode. There's a nerve that literally runs down to your whole and through your whole digestive system, and that's going to be turned on when you're in a restful state of mind. And sleep. You know, my daughter was joking with me earlier before. She says, well, if you're so tired, go to bed earlier. I've been staying up later because just trying to get things done around the house. And I said, you know what? I will go to bed before 10 o'clock tonight. So 9:30 tonight it is. And that's a late night for me. All right, discovery number 3, what actually works to help your stomach? This system works because we address all these pieces at the same time. So I promised that I was going to show you what's actually going to help. clearing out these things that don't belong, right? Getting rid of all that extra water in that bucket that's overflowing, giving your body what it needs specifically to you so that you can rebuild, and to give yourself the strength by focusing on your stress or relaxation, I should say. These three things, and I know that sounds tricky or impossible for some people, but I promise you, once you give your body what it needs, it automatically is so much happier and it's easier to relax and feel less stress. You can see how all these pieces together work to help your body, because like I said, your body knows what to do. It just needs some extra help. Now, this is just a story about this woman, Lori. She was a lawyer. She said, there's no possible way I can do a whole program right now because I'm too busy. And she was laughing because she couldn't believe how little time it took in order to feel better. Literally 3 minutes a day. That's it. Mind-boggling, right? But she went to the point of not eating on days she was working in court to being able to eat whenever she wants, sometimes she would get a takeout from a salad place or bringing her food, and no problems after that. Now, I just want to touch on this briefly because I mentioned testing before, functional testing, which can be fabulous, but it can also be horrible. And I say that because you really need the right plan to go along with it, and you really need the right tests and the right eyes. I've seen so many people have tests done, and they come to me with all these papers, and they're years and years old, and they say, can you do anything with this? Because I spent all this money on these tests, but I never really got relief. The answer is you need to have, if you want, or if needed, the correct eyes and the correct tests to help guide you. I'm not a fan of just testing every little thing because we need to be strategic about all this. But it is very important because no two bodies are the same, and testing can help you get answers even better than anything else. I don't want to talk too much into this because, I have some time. So Lisa felt like she was stuck because her parents had diabetes and heart disease. And she didn't want to get those things, so she wanted to eat really healthy. She was eating kale and broccoli. But then she couldn't, she was always so uncomfortable because of those foods. She realized she couldn't eat healthy. She just had to have pasta, rice, potatoes, and those were the things that agreed with her stomach. But those were not the things that were going to help her be healthy down the road. She didn't want to turn into her parents and get their health records. Now, we discovered that it's not that she was just sensitive to vegetables, but her body just had too much going on. It could not put the energy towards digesting those hard to digest vegetables. And by the end of working together, she was eating all of her favorite vegetables without any bloating or any problems. So she's finally able to fuel herself the way she knows she needs to in order to fight off or prevent getting cancer down the road. This was a story about Jen, who her blood work said she had elevated liver enzymes. And her doctor said, well, let's just keep an eye on it. But when we got down to it, it turns out 11 years earlier, her digestion became a little wonky. She would be bloated after meals, cramping sometimes, and food sensitivities just kept piling on. Eventually, she started feeling brain fog. And when we realized that all of these things happened once her stomach was starting to change a little bit, she realized these things were all connected. So not only were we able to address her stomach issues, but her liver enzymes got better, normalized. Her doctor said, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it because it's working. And she wasn't, I don't know if I mentioned this, she didn't drink alcohol. So it's not like that was a problem. But her hormones got better too. While her friends were complaining of hot flashes, she felt great. She had no complaints whatsoever. And that's because you can't help one part of your body without helping your entire body. That's the coolest thing. Now, the best way to predict your future is to create it. Your dream future awaits you, whether it's enjoying meals without fear, fully participating in activities so that you have energy to spare, and having the confidence in your career so that you can have clear thinking and the stamina to perform the way you want to. These transformations are completely possible for you. And you have a choice. Path one, to keep doing what you've been doing, and you'll be confused about what's actually going on. You might be wasting more money on generic solutions that don't actually help. And worst of all, missing out on life. Or path two, getting a specific roadmap, finally knowing what's wrong with your body and having a clear, personalized plan where you'll start seeing changes in weeks. So doing nothing just means to choose to stay exactly where you are now. Let me show you how to get your roadmap. So I know what you're thinking. You've tried maybe different nutritionists before or different elimination diets or supplements. And what makes this different? But the difference is nobody else is addressing these three root causes at the same time. They're putting you on restrictive diets or different medications, but this approach is going to address your whole system, and that's why it works when nothing else has. And that's what I want to help you figure out today. You're going to know it's not just the food, it's too challenging to heal on your own. And if you ignore these symptoms, it's only going to lead to worse health down the road. But here's the thing. Training like this can only take you so far. I can't tell you specifically what you need until we are able to get deeper into your history and all of your symptoms. I can literally look at a questionnaire and pinpoint major deficiencies and areas of concern immediately. But here's the thing. If you want to fix your stomach, we really need to look deeper. Your body, your history, things that you've already tried. How you can apply this to your specific situation is through a gut healing strategy session. Now, this is only available at this special rate for people who join this live, because I've gone through this time to teach all this to you, and now you are that much more educated and informed, and I congratulate you on that. You're going to have an understanding of what is causing your digestive problems through this strategy session. You'll get a customized plan for recovery and support and encouragement. This one-on-one attention on your case is going to help you finally have an idea of what's causing you to feel this way. And this gut healing strategy session is $97 just for today for anyone attending this live. I see the link is there so you can take a screenshot, but I'm also going to put this in the chat below so you can take it, because this is only for tonight. But I'm also going to give a bonus of a previous testing analysis. Somebody before mentioned that they had different tests done. During your gut healing strategy session, I'm going to throw in a previous testing analysis for free. This way, you'll be able to get another opinion on those numbers, and it'll help add to all the information we have about you and to build your plan so that you don't have to be wondering what to do next, what to try next. Another bonus is up to 10% off of my signature program. That's a $900 value. And my quick relief action plan. And that's a $97 value. These savings are over $1,400. Simple things that you can start doing today in all of these bonuses. So, what is your life worth to you? Decreased productivity, decreased quality of life. I won't stand for that. I mean, in my life, I'm looking to have love and peace and fun. That's what life is about. And I want that for you too. But I can't force you to improve your health. That's completely up to you. This consultation is going to help you to finally understand what your root causes are, to get a clear, personalized plan, and to stop you from wasting another dollar. Would that be worth $97? You spent years trying to figure out what's wrong, and your health is not getting any better without fixing this problem. If this sounds like it's the right next step, then we can get you booked in now. And by signing up for this, you're going to be rewarded with the most valuable and exclusive content and support to transform your health. My promise to you is that if you work with me and follow the plan, you will see improvement. And so many people say to me, well, I've tried all these different things. I'm too afraid to invest money into something else. Now, if you don't see improvement, I'm going to work with you one-on-one until you do, or I'm going to refund your investment because that's how confident I am in this approach. When you click on this link, you're going to be taken to my calendar. So you'll see all the gray circles are places where you can open dates. You can choose if it's a phone or a video session, type in your information and your credit card information, and you're all set. So we can agree that your body is asking for help. If you ignore it, it's going to ask louder until it's screaming. You don't want your health to fail even more. Most chronic diseases start with digestive problems. I didn't say this tonight, but when I first started my practice, I would see some complicated cases at times, and they would have 8 to 12 different diagnoses in their medical records. All of them started with digestive problems. All of them. And I thought, well, I can't really help all these complex cases. You're so far along. You've had these diseases for 30, 40 years. You're on 20 different medications. But then I said, well, if I can help you way before this all started, then that's the way to go. I know you don't want your quality of life to keep suffering. Low energy, poor memory, poor productivity. You're not living. You're just getting by. Now, digestive problems are one of the top reasons for doctor visits and over-the-counter medication use. People with chronic digestive issues admit they would give, get this, 10 to 15 years off their life in order to get rid of their symptoms and finally feel better. That's heartbreaking to me, but I get it. Like, if you could feel better right away, take off 10 to 15 years of my life and we'll call it even. That hits hard. So if you're done with this, then you can take the next step and address this just through a gut healing strategy session with an expert who's got an incredible track record of helping just these kind of cases. Because the sooner you book that session, the sooner you're going to be able to feel better. I've got some common questions here, but let me check out the chat first. Oh, why not? How come I'm not absorbing nutrients? Good question. If your bowels are loose, your body is pushing everything out of your system faster and it's not able to absorb the nutrients properly. In some cases, if you have an overgrowth of bacteria, the bacteria can be preventing your body from absorbing those nutrients properly. I feel worse with digestive enzymes, and my GI recommends taking it each time before eating a meal. Why do you think so that it actually causes fast throughout? I'm not sure if I understand the question, but if you feel worse taking digestive enzymes, chances are you're on the wrong type of digestive enzymes. So I would look into that because there are many different formulas out there. A digestive enzyme typically should make you feel better, or if it doesn't make you feel any different, then many times I'll just stop it. Okay. How long is the session? The gut healing strategy session is an hour. Yeah, we go into it. I'm ready to go out and start living again. Carpe diem. I am a firm believer that every day can be filled with joy and fun, and it should be. What about I have an autoimmune issue for 30 years and motility was impaired because of this. I am too chronic. Okay, so in cases where you might have another issue that is causing poor motility, I would challenge to say, I think there are a lot of different things that we can do to fix the motility and to support it. I shouldn't say fix it, I should say support it, because when we help to clean out your system and support your body, you will feel improvements. The improvement, if you're saying this is so chronic, it might not be 90% or 100% improvement. It might be 80% or 70% or even 50%. But at least in that case, it's going to be way better than what it is now. Now, I don't know enough about you to get a better idea, and I would really have to get some more details on it. Okay. Some common questions, but keep the questions coming because I love this. I'm here for you. That's why I'm here. I do this because I regret having such a failing system that I want to be able to help whoever I can. And I just put myself out there because I think that if you're drawn to this, it's going to help you tremendously and you deserve that. And for me, it's an hour of my week, but for you, it could be changing your life forever. And to me, that's everything. How do I know this will actually work for me? What we do is we're able to help your whole system, your whole body. It's not just a digestive system fix. We help your nervous system. We help every part of your body by clearing out this waste and by giving your body what it needs to heal. Does that make sense? You'll have better digestion, but more than that, every other part of your body is going to work better because we fixed these issues. Is this covered by insurance? No, it's not, because insurance isn't for that. Insurance is, if you know, right? Drop an emoji if you understand, or if I should go into more detail. Now, so many people will say, well, if my insurance doesn't cover this, I'm not sure if I want to do this. And that's totally up to you. But in that case, that means your insurance is not letting you heal. And that's the way it is sometimes. So I vote against insurance because I don't like how they operate. Yeah, you know it. What exactly happens in the strategy session, and what about after? Great. In the strategy session, I get a gnarly intake form on you so that I can really find the major pieces that are driving your symptoms. At that point, we are going to take into account all of these factors, your symptoms, what's going on, your budget, things you've tried before, and we'll create a plan to move forward. So after that, I mean, some people take a strategy session and they're like, wow, this was eye opening. I've got some stuff I'm going to check out, and they'll be on their way. Other people, they say, mind is blown. They want to find out everything that's wrong right away. And they want to get started right away and do everything they can to feel better right away. And that's possible too. And so my signature program, I think I mentioned before, it's a foundational gut reset where we take 6 months to completely overhaul your digestion. And that's where we see incredible results. But not everybody's ready for that. And that's cool too. You know, there are some baby steps you can take in the meantime. How quickly will I feel better? Totally depends on the case. And honestly, I have people in a couple days feeling better, and others are a couple months. I don't have the time or the energy to follow a program right now. And again, you know, I had that, not only Laura that I mentioned, but just the other week, 3 people in the same week in my program were telling me how silly easy it is to follow these things and to feel better. And it takes such little time. It's a no-brainer. So it's not a big time commitment. You don't have to be studying in depth or watching thousands of videos or changing your diet drastically. I think, you know, back in the day, I used to focus on helping people just through food. And that was great. I had a lot of success. However, some people were already on a really strict diet. They weren't able to restrict anymore. And for some people, they didn't have the time or energy or patience to overhaul their diet completely. And this is how I came into the work I do now. Multiple sclerosis. Okay. And how much do you think the whole program costs? Okay. So multiple sclerosis, I can see how a motility problem can, you know, having that for such a long time can be a factor in causing the SIBO, but there are absolutely things that you can do to help support your system so that you don't have to live with that SIBO. Does that make sense? My program, I have different tiers and different options available. Some people want the best technology. They want to test and retest, and that's cool. And that's $10,000. There's other people who want to have, you know, the bare bones. They're maybe on a budget and they want to cut down. Then that's going to be a fraction of that cost. So it really depends on what is going on and what you feel comfortable with, what you need. I'm going to tailor it completely to you. Is this live recorded and can it be replayed? I don't know if it's being recorded. I am not replaying it. I am going to have another session though tomorrow night. So if you got cut out or whatnot, then tomorrow night I'm having an encore session. It's going to be for people who weren't able to make it tonight and for people who have some more questions and, you know, had to run or whatnot. So it'll be back here tomorrow night. I will be back here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. All right. Now, you don't have to be guessing at all these different things. Healing is possible. I mean, if you're open to healing, then that can absolutely be in your future. Thinking that I have a chronic disease and, you know, it's not possible for me to feel great, but maybe we can get you feeling just better or much better, because a lot of these things that I do don't only help with gut problems, they help with everything. They help with people who have dementia, they help people who have ADHD and autism. It it helps in so many different ways, and that's because we're just supporting the body and doing the basics, the basic foundation work. All right. All right. Well, let me see. Oh, I have another bonus. Oh my goodness. Fifth bonus, additional 10% off my signature program. So take this because you guys have stayed to the end and I appreciate that. You get some major value in this. So take a screenshot, take some action right away, and that's when you book your gut healing strategy session today. Now, it's painful to admit, but every problem I've had longer than a few months is because I decided to keep it. And I'd hate for you to make the mistake on missing out on this work and having your health fail even more because this is here for you. It's designed to help catapult your system into healing and to help you get sustainable success. Thank you so much for being here. It's my honor and pleasure. And you're welcome back tomorrow night if you like. Take care, everybody.